If you had a chance to bet on someone, would you bet on yourself? Well, you should, because there's so much more to you than you have ever imagined. This is the All That You Can Be podcast with Yinka Jibril. Let's go on a journey learning how to live our lives by design. Hi everyone, welcome to the All That You Can Be podcast with Yinka Jibril. How is everyone doing? I always like to say good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're joining us from. And it's a good day to be talking about love. So it's another episode in our love series. I hope you caught up with all the other episodes. And thank you for all of you who have been sharing your ideas, your questions, counteracting or adding to some of the things that we have said. Your engagement is awesome. Thank you so much. And today we have another guest with us. I'm really excited about the topic today. Really, I am excited about the topic. Mr. Mogeku, Engineer Mogeku, Pastor Mogeku,
No, I put on many caps now.
You do. That's good. How do all of those caps fit?
I mean, it fits seamlessly. I just wake up one morning, I'm an engineer, wake up one morning, I'm another thing, but.
Got it. Yeah. And do you enjoy, dipping in and out of all of those things?
Especially for a man that is deeply introverted like me. So it gives me the opportunity to find expression, like I discover me. Right. Like different colors, different dimensions.
You see, sometimes it's good to have people in the studio because you discover something about them. So
what have you discovered about me?
You have referred to yourself as an introvert. That's interesting.
Well, it depends.
It depends. So some people say I'm an extroverted introvert.
I'm going to give you a story.
Okay, tell
me.
My
mom visited me some months ago. Mm-hmm. And, at the moment they left, she called my younger sister.
Right.
And said, if I grew up to be too reserved. And my sister was like, he has always been quiet now.
Right.
And she said, but we didn't know he would be this quiet. Thank God he married the woman he married. Oh. It's just surprised that everybody attributes everything to my wife, but it's okay.
Yes. Speaking about love and relationships, right? You just refer to your wife. The topic today is your love is changing you. That is for me, that is such a deep statement. I mean, I feel fortunate to have been married for over 18 years. I don't know, how long have you been married? You mentioned your wife. So
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
4 years. But don't worry, audience, don't worry. It's 4 years, but it's like 40, don't worry.
Yeah. 4 years, like 40. I can understand that. One of the things or one of the vows that people make, irrespective of the fact that a lot of people tend to try to, change the vows these days, but everybody can relate with for better, for worse. And I don't think when people are taking that vow, they are cognizant of the fact that your relationship will leave you for better or for worse. What is your experience in terms of the things that you're hearing? I mean, it doesn't have to be your personal experience, but what have you observed?
You see, I've seen things happen. I've seen a lot of people pay so much attention to things like the kind of money they want to make when they get married or when they fall in love, the kind of schools they want to take their unborn children to. Even the names of their children. I named my child, of course, long before I got married.
Wow.
Yes. I remember one day I just posted that picture and my roommate sent me a message and said, Ifeanyi, when we were in 200 level, you told me that you would name your first child Delta. I didn't remember, but I said that. Okay. And so you see, we do all of these things, right? But we don't prepare adequately for what love will do to us. We prepare for money.
Yes.
We even choose. Yes. We even choose the church we'll go to. Before I got married, at some point I had to do because I changed locations. I was looking for a church, and that was how I got to TOBC. So I brought my wife, who was my friend then, and when she stepped into the church, she said, "Babe, thank you for finding us a church." So you see, we can do all of that and not prepare for what marriage or for what love will do to us. So love indeed changes. But it could be positive, it could be negative. But one thing I know for sure, nobody remains the same. Yes.
I like what you just said about, what love will do to you. So love does not, you don't fall in love, even though somebody said don't fall in love, walk into love. That next time, walk into love, must you fall? And I suppose that removes the whimsical idea of just being in love and shifts that responsibility to the awareness that love will change you for better or for worse. Now, what are some of the things that people have failed to understand or to put in place to ensure that the love does not leave you bitter?
Okay. So you see, even though we've been saying that love will change you, right? The change is not supposed to erode who you are. You know, like I tell people, it is so much flex to be in love. You get transformed, but you've not lost your essentials.
Right.
You've not lost your essentials. So I'm saying all of this to say there are steps we need to take to make sure that the change is positive. Love again is like a mirror. You can literally see the person you're becoming. If the person you're actually becoming is not better, then you know that you have to wake up from it. Okay. But if the person you are becoming is better, then it is what love is supposed to do. So you flow with it. You flow with it.
Right.
And I don't know if I answered your question.
You did okay. Wonderful. As in, you said wake up to it. Because again, to be honest with you, sometimes I've spoken to some people who are maybe in a relationship, they're married, and you seem to get this notion of the fact that they're stuck. But you said something, you said if it's not making you a better person, you need to wake up from it. Can you unpack that for me?
Okay.
Because how do you practically do that?
You see, I tell people that the advice or the counsel I give people who are married, right, is the approach is usually different when the people are unmarried. I'm usually more direct when the people are unmarried. So much so that my friends used to say in school that if you're in a relationship and you want to break up, just go and meet brother Ify, and you
were the breakup champion.
Yeah, but I was not doing it because I love seeing people break up. But I was,
Tell me.
Yes, I was just showing them the obvious red flags. I mean, I just show them and let you.
I need to, I think even the audience, everyone wants to borrow a leaf from 10 steps to breaking up.
Well, I could give a rundown. Yes. I could give a rundown.
Yes. I like what you said about if you're not married, then chances are that you're in a better place to actually shape that.
Yes.
So it would be good to speak to the unmarried and to speak to the married, because I'm so interested in that point you made about wake up from that, because I want to know how married people can wake up from that situation.
Okay.
Yes.
As for the unmarried, right? I remember when I was in a relationship with my wife, we are friends. I told her that the day you feel that this relationship is not making you better, please feel free to escalate and do not hesitate to walk away. That's if I'm not getting the vibe. Do not hesitate to walk away.
Right.
I'm kind of direct.
I'm guessing you're Gen Z. Yeah, your leg is in Gen Z because you're like flex, vibe.
You see, I won't deny, right? Yes. I made up my mind very early that I was going to get it right.
That's a good one.
Getting it right is a decision. And getting it right is a response to what you crave. I've not missed any of your episodes on this love series, having those high standards and the likes. It depends on how it is approached.
Yes.
So I told her that if you feel you're not getting better, please escalate. Please, you talk about it. If I'm not helping, please do not hesitate to walk away if you have to. It's not be the end of the world. I will not get bitter. I'll just take the lessons of, okay, I need to do better in my subsequent relationship. Now it is my mindset about relationship. So for people who are single, right, you need to prepare for growth. You need to know that who you fall in love with is going to play a major role in the woman or the man you will become.
Right.
Yes, in the woman or the man you will become. So be intentional about it. Okay, so always audit your growth. And don't be selfish. In auditing your growth, also audit the growth of your partner. since you both fell in love, right? Is he getting better? Is she getting better? So it's not just about you.
I really like that.
Yes. Is he getting better?
Yes.
Has he moved from point A to point B? As his mindset shifted? As his interest, opinion about life changed? As it changed for the better? And all of these things are the things you need to intentionally do. It is not enough to say you're in love, you plan for other things, and you don't look at these things from a concrete point of view.
Yes.
I don't say from a critical point of view, because sometimes it gives a different vibe. But you must be intentional in your growth and the growth of the person you're in love with, and let the love be the mirror. You should reflect who you guys are becoming.
Do you know what? You're saying so many things that, in themselves, they can be, several topics that we need to unpack. There's something you said about preparing. Somebody said that the things that we desire, we must prepare for.
Yes.
So there is a sense of taking responsibility to ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this relationship? Now, it's not what do I want to get in terms of you're going there to take something, but then there are intrinsic things like, I want to get peace out of this. I want to get joy out of this. I want to get laughter out of this. Not just I want to have children out of this, because sometimes when people are getting married or in a relationship, that's all they're thinking about.
Children.
I want a label that I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or I'm engaged, I'm a fiancé. Yay! Look at my ring and all of that. All of the trappings of those things. But then there is no intentionality. Tell me about, you began to talk about the self-awareness. You also talked about the second point where you said, what are you making that person as well?
Yeah.
A lot of people think about what they're becoming, but don't think about what they're making.
Because the truth is, you cannot become in isolation. Yes, you can't become in isolation. And if you are in quote becoming and the other person is not becoming, there's going to be trouble.
Absolutely.
There's going to be trouble, because at some point it is either he feels that you pay too much attention to yourself. At some point, because he's not growing, he would or she would also kick against your growth. She would be, just all of those issues. So it simply means as you're growing, she must be growing. As she's growing, he must be growing.
Right.
So it must be mutual. It must be mutual. So it's a whole lot. And for those who are married, because we're looking at those who are not married.
Was just like,
and for those who are married, let us assume that it has not been mutual. It is not late. There's somebody who's watching us right now. It is not late.
Yes, did you hear what he said? It's not late.
It's not late.
Do you know what? I'm so interested in this conversation. A lot of times when I do counseling, more than 90% of that is love relationships. And a big percentage of that is people who give out this vibe that they're stuck. Please talk to the people. Like, it's not late. Yes.
It's not late. Yes. But again, as Pastor Abu would always say, the two people must be interested in making the marriage work before it can work. So if there's a decision to make it work, for those who have decided that it will work, it is not late. All you need to do is to sit down and communicate. A lot of people are talking.
The C word,
yes. A lot of people are talking, but they're not communicating. A lot of people are screaming, but they are not communicating. I always say this, right? The key objective of communicating is first to understand before being understood.
Okay.
But average people, but average people would want to be understood before they understand. And that brings about a lot of resistance, So, and it doesn't mean you're less. It doesn't mean you're not creative. It doesn't mean that you do not know what you're doing, but just ensure that the essence or the objective of communicating is not because you want your point of view to be promoted, seen, understood, embraced. No. It is because you know that you're a team.
Right.
So it is for you to understand the pinpoint, feel the pulse of the other person. If you sincerely feel the pulse of the other person, it will aid you.
Yes.
It will aid you in communicating to be understood. So again, to understand the other first is what matters.
Right.
So when you understand, then you can be understood.
Is there sincerity? I wanted to pick that upon that point. I know that, sometimes when we don't like maybe what we're becoming in a relationship. The person, some people, you hear them say, what I become, I just don't like it. Do we see sincerity in people? Is it that people don't know what to do? Or is it that there's a lack of sincerity? Or as you say, because there's the will of another person involved? Do you understand? So if you find a situation, I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, if you find a situation where one person feels stuck because the will of the other person is not coming to that point where they can then communicate in a way that builds understanding and that leads them to bring solutions where it's not in the right place.
Okay.
What exactly can people do in that kind of situation?
It's a very difficult yet simple approach.
Okay.
Sometimes the two people.
When you said difficult, I was tense. When you said simple,
because the truth is sometimes it's usually a function of exposure. Exposure now in knowledge, in counseling and the likes, right? When the two of you think that you cannot help each other, it is not out of place to seek the help of professionals.
Yes.
It is not out of place.
No.
It doesn't make you a bad spouse.
Yes.
It doesn't make you, because sometimes some people feel that if I meet someone else to counsel me or counsel my husband or my wife, then I'm throwing them under the bus, then I'm making them feel inadequate. No, it's like you want to be a professional in your field. For example, you studied engineering in school. Then you go through becoming a member of NSE, then become a current registered engineer.
Right.
So
you're talking your field.
Yes,
now.
Yes, you need to go do something.
Yes.
If you want to get better, you need to go for more training.
Yes.
So meeting a professional, right, or getting a material that both people can review, right, it's a way of getting better. So if the issue is money, then the two people should go get a material on money and review.
Yes.
If it's the issue of expression, if it's the issue of temperament, get the material, review.
So can I safely say that if you're not willing to put in the work,
I mean, it cannot happen.
You're not sincere.
Yes.
You're not sincere. I find a lot of people saying, and I'm like, in fact, yes.
And the sad reality is that a lot of people are not ready. A lot of people
I
are not
agree
ready.
with you. I agree with you. Marriage is work.
And it can be fun. It's work,
it's
but
good
it can
work.
be fun.
Right.
It's good work. Really, it's good work.
But then you have to be willing. And that's exactly what defines your sincerity. Okay. We've talked about, sort of changing the tides for people who are then in that headspace. What are some of the things people can do to make each other better?
Okay. So one, you must know what you want to become. You must have an idea of what you're going to.
Right.
Okay. So if you have that defined, what it does is it aids accountability. So if you say, when we get married, this is what we want to become. These are the things we want to do.
Right.
If that is clearly defined, accountability can come in. So from time to time, you can check. Are we making progress? Are we making progress?
Yes.
Are we handling these things well?
Yes.
What are the things we need to unlearn? Because sometimes it's not even about learning.
Right.
You may have to unlearn.
True.
I think these are the basic things. I prefer in having conversations about such elementary stuff, because I know when you do the little things well, the big things will take shape.
Completely.
Yes.
I totally agree. I mean, that's kind of like the thought somebody called James Clear put out in a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if we're talking about little adjustments that then over time build to the big things.
True.
I like what you said about check-ins. I don't think a lot of relationships have times when they check in,
we just sometimes we go to sleep, we wake up, it's 10 years. We look back and we are wondering, apart from having a child, what else have we done? Have we made progress with life? And in most cases, such people begin to think that they are stuck. Well, in reality, and they may truly be stuck, right? But it is important it is important you always know where you're going part-time. And don't feel bad if you're watching this right now. You jumped into that relationship, you fell in love, and these things were not clear.
You didn't even walk into it, you fell.
Yes, it is not late at all. You can still sit back and have these conversations. What are the things we want to achieve? Who do we want to become?
Right. Do you know, going back to this question of who do you want to become, it's such a big question that relates to life in general. Like, what do you want? I see that so many people do not have a definition of what they want. I remember, just as you were speaking, it came to mind. Now it's coming back to me that, when we were about to get married, my husband and I, he would always sort of say, this is the kind of home I want. This is the kind of relationship I want. This is what and at a point we even said, this is what we want our children to learn from our relationship. That is kind of visionary. So I think having a vision for it's not going too far to actually even have a vision for the home. Now tell me, two things we're going to explore before we finish, right? One of them, who sets that vision? Is it joint? Is it the man? Is it the woman? That's one.
Well,
yes.
Okay. Well, and the truth is, we sometimes we come with our own stuff.
Tell me about
it. Could be our baggages. It could be our vision. We come with our stuff. And for example, I shared earlier, right, that a friend of mine reminded me that in 200 level, I told him I'm going to have a daughter, my first daughter. And in fact, and that my first child is going to be a girl. He told me that.
Okay, wow.
Yes, and her name would be Delta, right?
Okay.
And funny enough, right, even though I came with that, right,
so you mean you couldn't remember that?
Yeah. I couldn't remember that, yes. Wow. But the moment he said that, then it clicked. Yes, it clicked, yes. But I didn't do that intentionally because even at that time, we were also playing around some names, right? But it was still the name that I said so many years ago that
you planted that into your subconscious, isn't it?
So I had conversations with my wife that I think I like the name and this is what the name means to me. And she was like, yes, it is the name. It is the name. And that is it. So I'm saying this to say it is not out of order for people to have their own thoughts because after all, we are from different homes, different families with different family blueprints, with different exposure and experiences. So we may come with these things. Nobody comes empty.
Absolutely.
Nobody comes empty.
Yes.
But when we come together, we should be able to place these things on the table and see how the fusion will help us become better.
Right. So sort of like creating a shared vision, which is so important. So maybe part of what causes bitterness is that some people dump on the other person their own vision and their own vision alone and do not sort of come to that point where they're creating a shared vision. That's super important.
It's like a melting pot. Like a melting pot. So if you think that yours is superior, then you will not make progress because you make the other feel inadequate, feel inexperienced, feel belittled. And of course, you have that kind of feeling. But knowing fully well that we all are different, different blueprints, different temperaments, none is necessarily better.
Of course.
Right? But different. So you put it into the pot and see what we can make out of it. You can imagine you want to cook, right? You want to eat. If I give you just a cube of Maggie, I know there are people watching right now who may love Maggie, they eat Maggie. You can eat the cube, but I'm sorry, right? But you see, you cannot enjoy just the cube. So imagine you bring the cube, you bring the onion, you bring tomatoes, bring all of that, and you create an egusi soup. I'm sure the experience will be better.
Right. You like
it doesn't matter how much you love. Well, maybe it doesn't matter how well you love the cube of Maggie.
Yes.
But I'm quite sure that you would enjoy the soup better.
Yes, of course.
So.
Yes. Talk to me about seasons. Sometimes I feel people in one season of their life, and there are several seasons people are going to encounter throughout their relationship.
Okay.
Sometimes one season is when it's just both of you. We ended up talking about, one season is actually you being single.
Being single. Okay.
Being single, that's where you start from, right? And then another season is when you're in a relationship, when you're courting. And I like how you talked about in that season, decisions, thinking about decisions. And then obviously the next season for those who want to be married is when you're married. Yeah. And then in that married season,
when you start having children,
there are several other seasons. Some people tend to lose each other in the season. Tell me, what are your thoughts around this?
The truth is, again, right? We change, right? We change, and the change must be curated. Change must be curated. Change must be intentional. Don't let change just happen to you. I mean, we cannot emphasize the importance of having a plan.
Yes.
The importance of having a plan.
So you should have a plan.
Because if you don't have a plan, things will hit you.
Right.
You know, things will hit you.
Yes.
I just hope I'm helping someone who's listening right now.
You're helping me. Like, have a plan.
Just have a plan.
Yes.
The plan may not answer all the questions.
Yes.
But it's better than beginning with nothing.
Nothing.
As you proceed, right, it gets better. You develop, you tweak it, you rearrange, you expand it and stuff like that. But if you're going without anything, then, I mean, because if you say, some people will say, if you multiply only 0 by 0, you will still get 0.
Yeah.
If you multiply maybe 1 by 1, I mean, you get 1 by 5, you get 5 and stuff like that. But once it's 0, 0, the outcome
and once it's 0, and any number is still 0.
It's still 0. 0 plus 0 is still 0, and 0 plus 3 is 3.
Is 3.
You know, so you must have a plan. It may not be perfect, but it's better you have a plan.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you have a plan to help you go through or navigate the different phases or stages of life that must come, to help you. Right. And one plan really is to prepare for change. Yes, to prepare for change.
Is to acknowledge that we're going to change.
We're going to change.
We will change.
We're going to change.
Yes.
I had my anniversary just I think about a month ago. And I saw, even physically, the guy I was then is not the guy I am now.
Really?
Physically.
Right.
So just imagine the things that have happened to me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I mean, it was just a remembrance. You know, it tells me that I have changed a lot.
And it's time to plan for the next.
So we need to plan consistently.
So many good things inside there. I do believe that this has really helped somebody. Powerful thoughts there. From the point at which you're single to the point at which you're probably dating and seeking. A good point to be asking yourself questions. What do I want? And then to the point where you get into relationships. If you're in that place where you feel that you're stuck because you literally both haven't made yourselves or put yourself on it, yourselves on the trajectory where you're better, there's no hope that is lost. You probably need counseling to unpack whatever is happening in that space. You both have to be honest and willing that you want to move this on to a better place. Ultimately, relationships should and can make you better, but then you have to be very, very intentional about it. I love the point about having a plan. Thank you so much, Mr. Mogiku. We're going to come back to this.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to come back.
Honestly, it's been a lot. We're going to look more into it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Let us know what you think about what we have shared today and your personal experience if you want to share. Remember when somebody said it might not be free, but you know what? If you want to reach out for some counseling, then leave a comment for us to explore. Thank you very much for being on my program this evening.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourself.
All right.